Alright, so now that you have the formula, let's do some problems to apply it. Ready? So the first thing is find the nth term. You'll see that written a lot. In other words, guys, that's a fancy way of saying find the 50th term, or the 30th term, or the 8th term, right? So there's your directions, and here's the problem. You're going to say a sub 1 is 3, our common difference is 7, and n is 17. So which term number do you think I want for you guys? What term? How far out do I need to go? 17, right? I want the 17th term. I'm starting at 3. What am I counting by? 7s. Okay? So if you apply what we just learned, right? If I want to find the 17th term, I'm going to start with the first term, correct? And how many 7s do I need to apply to it if I'm trying to get to 17? I only need 16 more, right? So plus n minus 1, right, which would be 16. 16 sevens. Be careful, that's multiply. So a sub 17 is 3 plus 16 times 7, which would give me what value? What's the 17th term without having to actually do it 17 times? 115. Because technically you could do it 17 times, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But when I asked you for the 217th term, not so easy. Okay? All right, let's try the next one. Number 2. What if I said that the first term is -4, the common difference is -9, and I'm looking for n equals 20? What do I mean by n equals 20? What term number am I actually looking for? Come on, guys. The 20th term, right? Good. So how many -9s do we need? We only need actually 19, right? So you have to write me a formula of some sort to show me where you got your answer. So you're going to tell me, okay, a sub 20, the 20th term, starts with -4, and you're going to add to it, this is n minus 1, right, which would be 19 times your common difference, -9. So a sub 20, the 20th term, you're counting down, aren't you? So you know your answer should be negative. If you start at -4 and you're subtracting 9 every time, so you should get a negative number just for reasonability. And we did, -175. Does that make sense? Don't forget this is multiply, not subtract. Okay, you ready to move on? Okay, so here's another thing that you will get. It will say 170 is the blank, and they'll use maybe a TH, like the nth term, the 5th term, the 4th term, that's what the TH is for, okay? The blank term of, and it's going to give you a little pattern here. Technically it's called a sequence, right? Okay, you have to use some common sense here. Am I looking for the 170th term, or have they given me the 100? No, that wouldn't even be 170. They've given me a term, haven't they? They've given me a term in the pattern, and they're asking me, is it the 4th? Is it the 5th? Is it the 100th? Do you see the difference? Okay, so what I like to do then is I like to just say, all right, I'm at -4, 2, 8, ... Where does 170 fall? That's where I like to look at it like that. Because they gave me the first term and they gave me the last term. Did they actually come right out and yell what the common difference is? No. Can you find it? Absolutely. Okay, let's find the common difference by going backwards. Remember, you go this way. So d equals 2 minus -4. You can check it by going another one. Or 8 minus 2. But what's the common difference, guys? Yeah, it's 6. So if you're going to talk about the formula, you're going to use the formula again. Okay, it's a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times the common difference. That's the formula that will help you if you get stuck. Okay, so this time, I know my first term. Let's list all the stuff I know. I know my nth term, and I know d. What variable am I actually looking for? Yeah, I'm looking for the nth term, looking for n. But I have everything else, so it's okay. Right, so plug in our formula. I'm starting, my nth term that I'm looking for is 170. My first term, see right there, is negative 4. I'm just kind of following the formula. Plus n minus 1, I don't know, times my common difference. Now then just do the math and solve for n. Distribute the 6 and solve for n. So 170 equals negative 4 plus 6n minus 6. I just distributed. So 170 equals negative 10 plus 6n. So what did n actually equal? What term number is 170, you guys? 30. Excellent. Any questions about what I did? Nobody? Everybody's okay? All right, then we're going to move to a different one. All right, here's your next one. Okay, this time it says A12 for what does that mean? Yeah, what am I looking for here, guys? I'm looking for the what? The 12th term. Do I know n? Do I know the term number? Yeah, n is 12. What's the 12th term? Okay, so way down here somewhere is the 12th term that I'm looking for. I don't know it. I know this is my first term. Okay, and every time, most likely, you're going to have to find what? What do we have to find? D, right? And no, you can't do this on your calculator 12 times because I need some sort of formula written out, right? Got to show me your work. So what's my D? Let's find D first. What's D? You go this way, right? Negative 13 minus negative 17. Or you can go check it by doing negative 9 minus negative 13. What's D? I think it's 4. 4. Okay, so let's use our formula. And basically what I'm saying is I want to apply 4 how many times actually? Not 12, but how many? 11. Okay, so your formula says the 12th term starts with my first term plus n minus 1 because I've already got the first one. So if I'm looking for the 12th term, I need 11 jumps, right? And each jump is 4. You see it? So a sub 12 is this plugged in your calculator, which would be 27. So the 12th term is 27. Okay, if you understand it, then try this one on your own and see how you do. Try this one. Right, so let's find the 32nd term, right? Is that what we're looking for? Okay, so I'm looking for you always start with the last one, right, the ending. So the total, in other words, the 32nd term is found by, okay, starting at the 6th term plus, the formula says n minus 1. Well, if I'm looking for the 32nd term, I've already gotten 1, so I need 31 jumps. You gotta find what the jumps are. Okay, the jumps you have to go this way. So D equals 21 over 4 minus 6. Or you can check by doing another one. 18 over 4 minus 21 over 4. What's D? I got negative 3/4.
Negative 3/4.
Yeah. So you're jumping negative 3/4 each time. I gotta go backwards to find D. Okay, or it's easier. That's what I meant by sometimes it's not very inherent what D is. You really have to learn the little trick. When you type it in your calculator, you get negative 69/4. Is a 30-second term. Got it? Okay, there's another kind. My kids earlier said that this one was on the SAT too, or as well. See if any of y'all recognize it. Problems like this, 55. What about something like this, where you had to find the middle terms? Another really common one, right? Okay, so let me give you a few secrets about this one. You can use your formula, okay? Or you can think about it as well. Okay, let's think about this for a second. All right, I'm making how many jumps to get from 55 to 115? What? Wait a minute, count the jumps. How many is that? 4 jumps. Do all the jumps have to be the same? It's a common difference, right? They better be the same. Do you agree? Okay, so how could I find it? How could I find what the jumps are? Yeah, find out the difference between the two, correct? The end and the beginning. So take the end, right? Take the end number and subtract the beginning so I can find how big the span is. 115 minus 55. That means that there's a distance of 60 between those numbers, correct? Right, how many jumps are there? Wait a minute, how many jumps were made? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, the other thing they'll tell you is this is A sub 1 and this is A sub 5. You know the whole n minus 1 thing? Okay? Right, how many jumps were there? 5 jumps, right? Okay, so divide by 5. No, not 5, are there 4?
4.
Thank you, right, because 5 minus 1 is 4. So there's 4 jumps. Gives me how much per jump?
15.
So the common difference is 15. Now that you know that, it's easy to find each one.
70.
Okay, if you get confused with that, another way to do it is take the last term, 115, equals the first term, okay, plus n minus 1, okay, which in this case would be 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. Okay, D, and solve for D. Either way is fine.
4 jumps.
Mhm.
Or
Right,
the
that-
last tip term numbers.
It's in minus 1, remember? Okay. So then the fill-in numbers are 70, 85, and 100.
That was on a test. Would we have to show like the 115 minus
This
55?
or this, one of these 2 steps. Do you see what I mean? Something, yeah. Okay, the next problem. This is a little different because there's a blank in the front and a blank in the back. Who cares? Who cares about the blank in the front and the blank in the back? It doesn't matter right now. Let's find the common difference. Because if I can find the common difference, then I'm not worried about them. I can fill them in later, right? But I can't find the common difference without a beginning and an end. Because I need to know how big the gap is. I need to know how big the gap is and how many jumps there are, right? Well, earlier we found the gap by taking 115 minus 55. How are we going to find the gap this time then? Don't get confused about how to find the gap. It was really easy for us here because there's no negatives. We're like, oh yeah, no big deal. 115 minus 55. Well, apply the same concept to this one. How do you find the gap? What are you going to do? The exact same thing. 4 minus what? A negative 5. So to find the gap, you're going to say, all right, I need to do 4 minus negative 5, which gives me what? 9. Okay? And if we consider this my first term, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is my fourth term, okay? 4 minus 1 is 3. Or you can look, 1, 2, 3. How many jumps is it? Right? If I'm going from 1 to 4, it's really only 3 jumps. So take your 9 and divide by 3. So your common difference is 3. Now that you know that, you can do whatever you want. You fill in all the numbers. Go ahead and do it. Okay? So then you should have got negative 8, negative 2, negative 1, and 7. Oh, positive 1. Okay, we have 2 more problems. You ready? How many multiples of 7 are between 36 and 391? You may see any problems like that. No? Okay, when you list multiples, 7, 14, 21, 28, what are you counting by? You're counting by common difference, aren't you? In this case, what's my common difference if I'm listing multiples of 7? What's my common difference? 7, okay? So we know D is 7. We're studying arithmetic, so we know we're talking about arithmetic sequences. And if you're counting by 7 every time, that's just a given, it's arithmetic. And it's saying, how many 7s are there between those 2 numbers? Now, I want between those 2 numbers, all right? So, the other numbers don't even really matter. It's like they don't exist.
It's like 36 the first number in the pattern.
Correct, 36 is the first, but is 36 a multiple of 7 though?
No.
No. So let's count. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, we're close. What's the next one? So actually the first multiple that falls in this window right here that we're given isn't 36, it's actually 42. That's my A sub 1, that's my first term. How could I find out what the last term is? What would I need to do? What's a quick way? Because, you know, that I'm not going to be able to know that in my head necessarily. How could you find it using a calculator? 391 divided by what? 7, excellent. So take your calculator and see how many 7s fit in. 391 divided by 7. How many fit in nicely? Can somebody tell me? What's it say?
55.8.
Okay, 55. So when you type this in, you get 55.8. So do 56 7s fit in? No, only 55 fit in perfect. So if you take your calculator and you do 55 times 7, okay, you're going to get 385. So 385 is your A sub n. That's your last term number. I just don't know what number it is. Okay, and that's the question, right? What number is that? Okay, so I want to know how many fit in. So let's think about our formula for a second. And our formula says, take your last term first, and that the formula A sub n. Okay, and I'm asking how many multiples, what variable am I looking for then? I've got D, I've got the beginning, I've got the end. What variable do I need? What? N. I'm looking for n. So my ending term is 385. 385 equals your first term plus n minus 1 times your common difference. one's a little harder. This one you actually have to know the formula for. So apply the formula and solve for n. What do you think? How many fit in? How many? 50. Excellent. Okay, last problem. I know this one's on there, okay? Last one. Write an equation for the nth term of the arithmetic sequence. Guys, they're telling you it's an arithmetic sequence actually kind of helps you out. Okay, obviously all today's arithmetic sequences, but by telling you it's an arithmetic sequence, they're automatically telling you there is a common difference. You should find it. Okay, and then it gives you the pattern. It gives you the sequence. You may remember a problem like that. It makes you write the rule for the term, right? Usually you just look at the multiple choice and plug it in and see it works. That's fine too, but here's how to actually do it, okay? So it's faster, so you don't have to go backwards and check each one, right? Because it's kind of timed. So it says write an equation for the nth term of the arithmetic sequence. Now guys, why you need an equation is this. You write an equation for a sequence so that you can find any term you want. If I want to find the 50th term, I plug in 50. If I want the 100th term, I plug in 100. If I want the 10th term, I plug in 10. So if you can write a rule that leaves in other words, the number you're looking for, then that's what they're asking for. Okay? They're saying, guys, write me a rule. That means leave in. Okay? So when you see the word write an equation, okay, you want to leave in. Leave in. I don't know how else to say it, right? Leave in the formula. How about that? So let's write the formula out. This is a sub 1. I do not know the last term. I don't know what it is. Okay? So let's write a pattern. And everywhere you see in, you're going to leave it alone. You want to keep it. So I don't know the last term, so let's write a sub n. I do know the first term. It's negative 26 plus. Okay, the formula calls for n minus 1. Do I leave the n there? Yes. And then it calls for d. We haven't found that yet. Let's find it. d equals negative 15 minus negative 26. So what's d?
11.
Okay, so you're doing 11 every time. Now FOIL it and find it all the way. So a sub n, the nth term, any term you want to look for, you start at negative 26, combine those together, so a sub n equals 11n minus 37, or negative 37 plus 11n. You've written the rule. You can find any term I want. I want the 4th term, plug in 4. I want the 100th term, plug in 100. That's the rule. The rule or the equation leaves in it. Okay? All right, you're done.
Hang on.